The Blue Album, Take Two. Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And in this review, we are going to do something I don't do too often. I am going to cover a best of greatest hits package. We are talking about the Beatles' Blue Album. This is the Beatles 1967 to 1970. This is a collection of songs that were off of albums, as well as were singles, as well as were B-sides, EP tracks. The Beatles, music in general, used to be a lot more single oriented. And when the Beatles came into doing music, they were doing a lot of singles. And in order to make albums, to make proper LPs, you had to prove that you could put enough music together to actually make an LP worthwhile. Well, the Beatles, even though they could make LPs that were worthwhile, felt that releasing singles were still really important. I'm going to get into that as we go here because it pops up a lot. Another thing that's going to pop up in here is when it comes to the Beatles and their discography. There is a difference between the US discography and the UK discography. And one of those clear differences, which is very important to this set, is the Magical Mystery Tour album. The Magical Mystery Tour album is not considered a proper LP as per the UK listings. It is an American release. And you'll understand when I go through here why this set was very important, especially in the UK, as opposed to being as important in the US, even though it still would have been important in the US. The other thing that's also really important to point out is singles. Getting in, especially towards the 70s, like the later part of the 60s going into the 70s, singles were less and less of a thing, and usually a single was reserved for a song that was on the album. Quite often, the Beatles would release songs just purely as singles, and they would not go on albums. Magical Mystery Tour in the US is kind of what I'm trying to explain with that. The US did not support singles, still doesn't. The US does not support singles anymore like it did once upon a time. Like in the early days, like the late 50s, early 60s, even early 50s-ish, the birth of rock and roll. The oldies, as we called it back in my day. Now they're the extreme oldies. I don't know. Where I'm trying to get at, though, is because US doesn't do singles so much, that's where the Magical Mystery Tour came from. This would have been put together without the thought of the Magical Mystery Tour. So let me explain as I go here, okay? As I'm already drawing out a long time. The album opens up with Strawberry Fields Forever. Alright, let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry. Now you're coming on really hard, heavy, really heady music going on here. This was a single in the UK. It was a non-album single. In the US, it was on the Magical Mystery Tour. So, in the US, this would have been considered an album release. Now, I personally don't own the Magical Mystery Tour. I should get around to going to pick it up, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. Because all the tracks from here that are on Magical Mystery Tour are really good tracks. But, let's carry on. So, you got Strawberry Fields open up. This is one of the pinnacle kind of Beatles songs. Like, a song that even got a music video back before music videos were a thing, really. From there, though, they pick up the pace, they liven it up, they make it feel really good again. You get the song Penny Lane. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Penny Lane. I don't mind it. To me, it's too close to their bubblegum pop stuff from the earlier 60s still. It's enjoyable, but it is what it is. Also, another song that ended up on the Magical Mystery Tour. And also, this is going to come back around in a little bit. There was the Magical Mystery Tour LP and the Magical Mystery Tour EP. I didn't do the research on the huge difference between the two of them, My guess would be the songs that may or may not have been released, which goes with the singles versus whatnot, because there were a couple songs from Magical Mystery Tour that would have been on the album that the UK wouldn't have gotten their hands on, which would have made them EP releases. At least I believe that's how that's working out. I don't have it here in specific details. But after Penny Lane, we get into one of my favorite Beatles songs. One of the very first Beatles songs I ever wanted to cover and do in a heavy metal kind of style. And that is Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I absolutely love how thunderingly heavy this song is and the way it comes in, and it just roars. And absolutely everything about this song is just fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and there is nothing bad at all about the song. Now, the only thing you could say is bad is it's only 2 minutes, which means you could also make a great punk cover out of it too, I think. And we've all theoretically heard the legend of Jimi Hendrix covering it. It is a top-notch killer tune, man. From there, we go into With a Little Help from My Friends. Now, I really dig this one. But I'm going to be honest, to me, this is a blueprint for the Joe Cocker version. I absolutely love his version better. The soul, the passion, everything in his, it's absolutely amazing. Now, does that mean anything should be taken away from the Beatles version with a little help from my friends? No. It is a good song, and I really like it. After Sgt. Pepper's, it follows it properly. It sounds really good. It works really well. Then that flows into Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That's right. Now, this is a song that I love. I would love to cover, but trying to cover it and do it right, forget it. It's one of those songs that is just so hard to get right. It is a beautiful song, though. It is fantastic. And I love the psychedelic lyrics. I do. I love the trippy psychedelic lyrics. Whether anybody wants to argue about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds standing for, that's a whole different thing. I don't care about that. I just care about how fun this song is. And then we, after having a whole lot of fun, we bring it back down to something that is both a beautiful song, a heady masterpiece, and definitely some proto-prog going on here. And I'm talking about A Day in the Life. This song, right down to the point where it sounds like the music has been thrown into a blender, is just fantastic. It is brilliant. It is great. It is a masterpiece of what you could do in the studio back in the days of recording on tape and having to actually cut and paste or cut and tape the tape back together. Okay, like we're talking some brilliance on this piece of music with the type of music editing back in the day. Today it'd be easier to do. Back then, man, marvel of engineering genius. I should explain, when I review this more as 2 CDs. It was originally released as 2 vinyl discs. This also isn't the cool digitally remastered version, because it has been digitally remastered. This is just the basic one that was released like in the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, whatever. When Michael Jackson owned the rights and it cost a fortune for all the Beatles albums. Okay, but the reason why I bring this up is the last song on side 1 of the vinyl is All You Need Is Love, which is what finishes it up. And it finishes up beautifully. After A Day in the Life, it brings you back up and it leaves you on a very positive note after listening to approximately the first 24 minutes of this collection. 24:19 according to what I have here on the computer. I think that first half might be the best continuous playthrough half. As we go through this, now I like the Beatles, I really do. Am I a hardcore fan? No. Do I think every song they ever wrote was magic? No. Did they write a lot of great music? Definitely. But after this, I start getting into more songs where I'm more about skipping them or, I don't think they're really worth mentioning, or they're just kind of fast little nods to me. And the reason why I bring this up is going on a side two, this is going to pop up a lot. Side two opens up with I Am the Walrus. I Am the Walrus was a B-side. It was also included on the Magical Mystery Tour EP and LP. I don't know which single it would have been a B-side to. I don't have that information. I do apologize. But this is a one I would have bought for the B-side. I love it. I Am the Walrus. I Am the Walrus is right up there with Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I think they're both fantastic songs. I really, really dig the psychedelic lyrics, the trippy kind of, what people would see as nonsensical kind of lyrics. I personally, doing poetry, I like writing in that style myself. I think it's fantastic. You really get a good kind of just stream of consciousness flow and vibe to it, which is really awesome. The music on it is also just top notch and absolutely enjoyable. Now, next track after that is Hello Goodbye, which was a non-album single later included on Magical Mystery Tour. I only have any type of warm, fond, fuzzy memories for this because when my sister was a little kid and she did a fashion show, Hello Goodbye was the song that they came out to in the fashion show. And that was really wonderful, and it was really nice, and it was really cute, and I really like that, but that was kind of that, really, I don't have anything else really to that. That is followed up by Fool on the Hill, which isn't a bad tune. I enjoy it when it's playing. It's not a song I go out of my way to listen to. The next track, though, Magical Mystery Tour, I do go out of my way to listen to. I think it's a really good song. I like the high energy of it. It is a song I would absolutely love to cover. I think it would be a great song to cover and metal it up just a little bit, Now, both those songs are off the Magical Mystery Tour EP and LP. And as I said, I Am the Walrus was also on the EP as well. Those three songs would make up a proper EP or extended play because they'd be too long for a single. And obviously, like everything else, they just get thrown on the Magical Mystery Tour album. But I think when they were releasing the actual Magical Mystery Tour album for the US, they released all these songs. They recorded these songs specifically for it, but they hadn't been released in the UK. They didn't want to release Magical Mystery Tour in the UK because they had released everything else as a single. So they released the EP. That's how I think that worked out. Magical Mystery Tour is fantastic, though. Really good. That goes into the non-album single Lady Madonna. I don't know whoever got the idea that this should be a single. I mean, a B-side maybe, but a single? Yikes. No thanks. And then you get Hey Jude as a single. Think about that for a second. Hey Jude. Na, 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 na. Na, na, na. Hey Jude. Okay, we're talking about that Hey Jude, and it was a single. You never got it on an album. That's why things like this this type of set was really important when it came out. Because I mean, me personally, would I have gone out and bought Hey Jude as a single? No, but I believe the B-side to it would have made it worth picking up. And the B-side is Revolution. Now, I have, as of recording this review, I have not recorded the review for the White Album yet. But if you're one of my regular viewers, you will see the White Album review before you will see the review for this one, because I had planned on doing it that way. Oh, sorry, my computer. And this is not the same Revolution that is on the White Album. The Revolution on the White Album is kind of this more laid back, kind of chilled out thing. The Revolution that's on here is the classic Revolution that everybody knows. The you say you want a revolution. Yeah, so that heavy ass one that everybody's familiar with, and it's usually like Lennon doing it live is a solo is usually the most common version you see videos for and stuff like that. That's this version. Yeah. So if you wanted that, originally it was a B side to get the big heavy version, and to get it outside of just trying to find the B side, you got it on this collection. And that also finishes off the first disc. And we move on to the second disc. Before I get on to the second disc, just as a quick synopsis: Strawberry Fields, yes. Sergeant Pepper, yes. With a Little Help from My Friends, yes. Lucy in the Sky, yes. A Day in the Life, yes. I Am the Walrus, yes. Magical Mystery Tour, yes. Revolution, yes. The rest of them, and Hey Jude. I could even take Hey Jude, sorry. The rest of them, so Penny Lane's not bad. It's cute. I could deal without it. All You Need Is Love. I actually prefer the Bob Rivers parody, All You Need Is Elves, at Christmas time better. I think it's more enjoyable and more fun. I get into it. Like I said, Hello, Goodbye, I don't worry about. Food on the Hill, I don't worry about. Lady Madonna, I don't worry about either. So, out of the first disc, there's a few I definitely cut out and skip. I'll play it through, but just not important. We get into disc 2, side 1, and you got Back in the USSR. This was from the White Album. On here, my notes online, it says the Beatles because the album's called the Beatles, apparently. I don't know anybody that calls it the Beatles. Everybody I know calls it the White Album. Alright. Back in the USSR from the White Album is a fantastic song. It's the same song. Same song. Good tune, though. Then you get Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps, also from the same album. Now, this is the first time I get to bring up the George Harrison writing credits. I love George Harrison. George Harrison is my favorite composer from the Beatles. There are very few George Harrison songs I'm not a fan of or I don't get excited about. Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps is my absolute favorite Beatles song. Eric Clapton doing the guitar solo on it definitely probably does not hurt. It is a magnificent song, and I've liked every rendition and version of it I have generally heard because most try to stay faithful to the essence of the original. The one from the movie Across the Universe, that particular scene where they bust it out, it's absolutely beautiful. It works so well in there. It really tugs at the emotions. The song in general does, though. This is one of those songs that tugs at every part of you emotionally and gets you, gives you goosebumps and just, thank you, George Harrison. Thank you. And then we get Obla Di Obla Da after that. This song is fun. I'm not a fan of it. I understand why some people do like it, but not my thing. Also from the White Album. Then we move into Get Back, which was a non-album single. Now, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that I have Get Back on the Let It Be Naked album when I reviewed that. I'm pretty sure it's in there, so I think it eventually got redone and put on to an album of sorts, but it did not belong on the Let It Be album. Let It Be Naked album, if you're just starting to watch my reviews, is actually one of the very first ones I reviewed. If you're one of my regular viewers, you may have even stumbled across it already. It is one of the more popular reviews I've done so far. Get Back isn't a bad tune. I'm not a huge fan of it. It works. I don't mind. If I'm playing it through, I don't feel I need to skip it. If I made it through Obla Di Obla Da, Get Back is a good kind of pick me back up to that to get a little more energy going. But the reality is, it's the next track that I'm really interested in, which is Don't Let Me Down, which was a non-album B-side. So I'm going to guess, based on how this is done, it was probably the B-side to Get Back. I would have picked up this for the B-side because Don't Let Me Down, as far as I'm concerned, is by far the superior of those two songs. I love Don't Let Me Down. I love the musical arrangement of it. I love the simplicity of it. I love the rawness of it. It is one of those songs that is just really good. And as much as I usually would say I don't want to cover a ballad kind of song or anything like that, this is one of those songs where I'd really want to cover because it's not actually a ballad. It's kind of the guys talking to each other saying, you know, are you going to be there for me? Don't let me down. Do you have my back? Kind of thing. This is when the Beatles were starting to get really tumultuous, you know. At this point, Ringo's walked away at some point by now. George, I believe, has walked away at some point by now. John's working on solo material. Paul's been working on solo material, I believe, at this point. So it was just, you know, the writing was on the wall. Not there yet, but we were getting there. That is followed by The Ballad of John and Yoko, which was also a non-album single. I like that tune. I like it. It's good historical music, I think, because it tells you basically kind of what it was like, the whirlwind life that it was like being John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and the crap that they had to deal with. And it was kind of a finger to the media, you know, because they were kind of spurring on this tabloid kind of journalism stuff, which is what's become the regular of today, more or less. Is it a song I go out of my way to listen to? No. And then that is followed by Old Brown Shoe, which is also a George Harrison song, but it is one of the few times that I'm not a huge fan of a George Harrison song. Is it bad? No. It doesn't do anything for me. And that was also a non-album B-side. I believe it was probably the B-side to John and Yoko. For me, basically, I'm going to, if I'm in a mood, I will push through until the end of Don't Let Me Down, and then I skip over to the next side. I don't really want to listen to the last two songs that much. John and Yoko, like I said, is really good, kind of for historical purposes, but it's not a song that I go out of my way to listen to either. And to be completely honest, Back in the USSR, While My Guitar Gently Weeps are probably the only two songs on that whole side I actually will go out of my way to listen to, and you know that then it would be over to the other side. And the other side also has a few songs I really do enjoy, but it's one of those ones where I definitely stop it before I get to the end. The second side of disc 2 opens up with Here Comes the Sun, George Harrison. Here comes the sun, do 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 do. Here comes the... And, you know, that song comes on, and whether the sun's out or not, you can feel the sun coming down on you, man. You know, totally different song, but I feel the sun shining down on me. But it's, here comes the sun. Yeah, I just can't help it, man. Even in the rain, I still feel it. That is then followed up by one of my absolute favorite Beatles songs, Come Together. This is on the list. There are some songs from the Beatles I absolutely would love to cover. One of these days, I really want to get around to doing a cover of 10 to 15 songs, do just a fun little cover album of them. Jack them up, metal them out a little bit, take a stab at them in different kind of themes and ways. And Come Together is definitely one of those, but Come Together is one of the ones where I would want to stay the closest to the original, because as a drummer, it's one of the most fun Beatles songs. As a bassist, it's one of the most fun Beatles songs. That do 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 do, and then you go do 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 do. I just and I like the trippy lyrics. I love the trippy lyrics. I have karaoke'd the hell out of this song. This is a great song to karaoke as far as I'm concerned. And this is one of the songs I actually karaoke'd in my very early days of karaokeing and stayed with me for years. I don't think I've done it over the last decade, and I probably would love to get back to it one of these days. But yes, Come Together is definitely a major song on my list. Then we get to another amazing George Harrison song, Something. This song is just so beautiful, so sweet, so romantic, and the story behind it is so whole. I'm not going to get into that long-winded, messy story that also inspired another great track by the name of Oh Layla. But fantastic song. Fantastic. Alright, that is followed up by the great joke of Octopus's Garden. This was sung by Ringo Starr and is often devalued, immoralized, and brutally treated. I don't think it deserves it. I like Octopus's Garden. I always have. I've talked about this song and the previous three. I've talked about before when I covered Abbey Road. At least I'm pretty sure I've covered Abbey Road at this point. And I thoroughly enjoy Octopus's Garden. I won't even call it guilty pleasure. I don't feel guilty listening to it. I think it's a good song. I think it's a fun, playful song. And, you know, it's a great song to play around kids when you got young ones and you know, you want them to listen to good music and you don't necessarily want to listen to that childish music. This is a great song for that. It really Next up is Let It Be, and I absolutely love Let It Be. Let It Be is one of those songs that is absolutely brilliant and totally enjoyable. And on here, I think it's really interesting that they put it down as a non-album single because it was released on the album as well. There is a variation in the two tracks. The one that's on the album is actually longer than the one that's on here, or the single version of it. The single version just cuts in a little bit shorter, and is basically the end of it, I believe. They just trim it down. And for me, this is kind of where this whole set ends. Because the last two songs on here I can't stand. You got Across the Universe and The Long and Winding Road. I don't like either of them. Across the Universe, I hate the high vocals. I loathe the high vocals the whole way through, and I've never heard a version of it I honestly like. Even in the movie Across the Universe, I do not like the version they use of Across the Universe. I just don't care for the song. It works in the movie, and I mean, I get what they're doing, and it's wonderful. I just don't like the song. And The Long and Winding Road is just so dull and boring. Oh my god. If that's what they were going for, calling it the long, you know, then that's what they were going for, and they achieved it. Oh my god, it's so boring. So boring. If you have never bought anything from the Beatles, if you own absolutely nothing from the Beatles, go pick this up. Now, I realize some of the songs I kind of downplay a little bit, but let me tell you, you have to go out and buy each individual album. There are not going to be a lot of individual albums you're really going to want to get. Okay? I've been there. I have done that. This, I will still put this on and listen to this the whole way through before I will put on most Beatle albums and listen to them the whole way through. Or if you want to look at it as this is a double disc set, or even representing, say, 4 different albums, I will listen to this double disc set before I will put on the 4 different albums and listen to them the whole way through. Because it's also got more songs on it I actually want to hear. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Those are my views. Those are my opinions. Let me know what you think, folks. That's what the comment section is for. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. There's the bell for the notifications. Appreciate it if you hit that. There's that link below that will take you over to Patreon. I don't do anything really special. There is some stuff on Patreon. I haven't done anything really with it in a while. But, you know, that's more so you can throw a couple shillings my way if you like. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.